On time for once.
There we go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Limitless CEO live from a cupboard in Leeds.
Literally, Ali is in a cupboard today. We'll share why she's in a cupboard very shortly. But first of all, ladies, welcome to part 2 of Leap and Grow, which is, of course, the grow, the juicy bit. How do we grow?
I know, I love this bit. I'm very excited. I'm almost a little bit too giddy, and I've had a really, really strong coffee, so we could go wild, a little bit wild. I'm just making sure I can see everybody. So if you're watching, hello, do say hello if you're joining us live, so we can give you a wave and a call out.
Ali, just whilst everyone's joining, why are you out in a cupboard, incidentally?
Well, my husband rather surprised me yesterday. Let's just start at the beginning, shall we? So one of our pillars of the Limitless CEO is freedom, to feel free. And we were talking about what free means to us, both Em and I was talking to my husband about what does free mean to us. And it was very much this feeling of I can do anything, I can go anywhere, I can be, just this whole kind of be anything, do anything, go anywhere at a drop of a hat, whatever I want to do. I was like, oh yeah, that feels really, really good. That was on Monday. Yesterday, he threw me and he said, pack a bag. We're going away tomorrow night. And I was like, oh my God, what about the dogs? What about the kids? Oh my God. And I was like, oh, no. Hold on. Whoa there. This is what you asked for. So breathe into it. And the only way that we could continue with the calls and the commitments I had today and doing this live in order to get to our flight was if, oh, sorry, my AirPods have just connected. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Was if I came into Leeds
and worked from
in a cupboard
in his office.
Exactly that.
Very good. Okay, so any hellos for those of you that are joining.
Nicola
Sorry,
Brown.
Ali, I'm relying on your eyes on.
Sorry, my eyes on. Kat's there. Hello, gorgeous Kat. Thank you very much for being with us. And Nicola's there. Hello. How are you?
Amazing. Okay, ladies, let's dive in because we're here to grow. This is what this second part of this masterclass strategy series is all about. Growing.
I'll just do a recap, Em. Let's just do a quick recap and probably a bit of an introduction. Hello and welcome to everybody in the Limitless CEO. I am always this little bit crazy. You never know what you're going to get with me. I'm Ali. I am the mind master and the energetics part of our duo. I am the yang to Em's yin. And if you want to know a bit more about us, then please do go back and watch the full introduction we did on Leap. But Em, who are you?
Well, obviously, I am the other half of our wonderful coaching duo. So I'm Em, and I'm an online business strategist and a visionary brand creator. So I'm the one that extracts all of your fantastic ideas and turns them into this incredible brand, then really kind of lays down the path in terms of the strategic direction in terms of how you can get there and how you can grow your business, which of course is what we're here to talk about today. I'm not going to go into a full intro today because obviously you can go back and you can watch part 1. And if you haven't had a chance to watch that, then do go and watch part 1. Although you don't have to have watched part 1 to be here today. So yeah, this is the part where we talk about how we grow. And it's probably worth mentioning at this stage that the reason why Ali and I are where we are today working together as a duo is that Ali came to me initially to grow her health coaching business at the time, and we worked together as a coachee and mentor relationship. And in 2020, in the middle of all the madness of the pandemic, we grew Ali's coaching business to consistent multiple 5-figure months in a very, very short period of time. And that was really what inspired us to come together to share how we had done that and what we had done in order to grow so substantially, so quickly. And we are now doing that together in this beautiful duo of business strategy and energetics and mind mastery. And since starting the Limitless CEO brand, which is less than 10 months since we first came live on this exact group screen and shared with you how we'd grown Ali's business, we came into this with a big dream of growing this business to 6 figures in our first year. That was our big dream, our big goal. And as we stand, less than 10 months in, by the end of our first year, the Limitless CEO brand is going to be a multiple 6-figure brand in its first year, which is crazy growth. And it's happened much faster, and it just keeps happening faster and faster and faster. And this is why we want to come on today and talk to you about what is that recipe for growth? Like, what are those pillars that are underlying our growth? Because growth is probably one of the most important things to us in our business. Like, the Limitless CEO stands for consciously evolving owner. So this is the evolving piece. This is the fact that we stand for this constant evolution and growth. And that means growing personally as women, and it means growth in our business. And the two are very, like, they're symbiotic, really, because the more we grow as women, the more the business grows. And the more the business grows, the more we expand as women. So it's this beautiful dance that's happening all the time that has contributed to the success that we're enjoying today. And that's what we want to share with you, is what is it that has enabled us to achieve that growth. So hopefully that's what you're here for.
Really, I'm just talking about that whole growth piece before I talk about something else, is wherever you are in your journey, whether you've got the seed of an idea, whether you've already turned your seed into a business, because you can grow from a seed of an idea and you can start to grow a business, or whether if you've started to grow your business, which is where I came in and asked Em to help me grow, is that you can then grow your business. Em and I are going to keep growing our businesses, grow, and keep growing. And the principles we're going to talk to you today are principles that we keep applying to our businesses in order to grow. So what I'm trying to say here, probably really rather ineloquently right at the moment, I'm still quite fascinated by the fact that I'm in a cupboard, but it's the fact that wherever you are in your journey, you can always grow. And what we're going to share with you today is, if you take these principles and these ideas to wherever you are, you will then up level and grow, because that's all growing is. It's just up leveling. It's just moving forward. It's moving on. And as Em beautifully said earlier, growth is evolution. Evolution is growth. And that's what we stand for as Limitless CEOs. We don't stand still. We keep moving. We keep growing. Just going to recap a little bit of what we talked about in LEAP, because sometimes the leap comes before the grow and sometimes the leap comes after the grow. And what we talked about in LEAP before was one of the first things that we believe is probably the first step in either your growth or your leap. Because when you want to leap onto a firm foundation. And then you can grow from a firm foundation. And what we believe, truly believe, with our experience of growing multiple figure brands over the last collective 15 years, is that if you have a strong brand, that is the foundation. That is that where you can leap into a strong brand. And having a strong brand is where you can grow from, where you can grow up from. So one thing that we shared in the LEAP program was something incredibly exciting, which is something that Em and I had a seed of an idea before Christmas, was, this is a seed of an idea. How are we going to grow this into something to share? And we went away over Christmas, and that seed began to grow based on everything we're about to talk about. And it became this beautiful program, which we're offering to you all, and which we offered in the LEAP program, which is our Curator and Creator program. It's a one-day total immersion in order for you to grow that seed of an idea into a brand, or even if you've already got a brand, is for you to grow and up level your brand so that you have that strong foundation to keep continuing to grow. This was really born on the idea of the back of the Well Balanced Business, because at the moment for us, we're starting to introduce our foundational program, the Well Balanced Business. It starts at the end of this month. And what we find is when women come into the Well Balanced Business, it's this first module, the brand growth, the messaging, the taglines, the how you're going to share yourself, the vibe, the expression of what it is that you do, is often the most mind-blowing transformational piece. If you go back and watch some of the testimonials we've got in the group, they literally, and I can remember, they just said this first couple of weeks of understanding brand is worth my investment in the Well Balanced business alone. So what we decided to do was to pull a part of the program out and do it in this standalone immersion day. So you can start to supercharge. If you're already in the Well Balanced business, you get this already. You can start to supercharge what you're about to learn in the Well Balanced business. But even if you're not quite ready to leap into the Well Balanced business, you can start to build that foundation, that brand piece first, because the brand is your purpose. It's why you're going to do it. And it's also what you can help articulate to others so that they want to be a part of your movement, so that they can start to buy into you. And then when people start to buy into you and people become aware of you because of your brand, then you start to grow, which is what we're going to be here to talk about first. But I just wanted to really touch on that. Wherever you are, curator and the creator is a great place to start, and it's something that you're going to keep doing and going over and over and over again, and we're going to touch on it again further on. But shall we start to grow? Shall we move into grow, Em? Shall we go with grow? So I'm going to start with, for those of you in our world who've known us for a long time, of course we have an acronym. And the acronym, we love acronyms because it helps us structure our work and our sharing and how we share things with you. But it's also really useful, we find, for you on the other side to understand what we're saying and how we can go back. How you can go back and say, what did Ali and Em talk about grow? Oh, yeah, that was the G, the R, the O, and the W. And what did they stand for? What did I need to do? So we're going to be very, very clear, very punchy. You're going to have some homework to do on this. If you're serious about growing your business or growing an idea, you're going to have to go and do some work, and we're going to give you that work today. So you're going to get some great value out of us this afternoon in the next 40 minutes, 50 minutes, because I've got a plane to catch, people. Let's go.
Right, we better stop talking and start talking. That makes sense. Okay, so the G in the GROW acronym, then, what does that stand for? We think about where our growth, our massive growth, our accelerated growth has come from. The first thing that we had to do, that we need to do when it comes to growing, and I don't want you to yawn at this because it might sound like it's a really obvious thing, but actually it's a step that a lot of people miss. And we also want to give you a different way of thinking about this today to what you might have heard in the past. And the G stands for goals. Goals, like what is your goal for your growth? And I think it's really important to be clear on this, because a lot of people come to us and say, I want to grow my audience, I want to grow my social media following, I want to grow my income, I want to grow my private communities, I want to grow my email list, grow. Okay, what is that like? How are you going to measure that success? What does good look like to you? And I think also one of the things that we've been taught to do in the past around goals is to start with what we call the very masculine goals, which are the kind of tangible goals, if you like, around your numbers.
It's those SMART goals, isn't it, Em? Please don't switch off if we talk about SMART goals.
Oh, please don't make me be sick.
Gonna...
I hate SMART goals. Please throw away everything that you know about goals if you want to grow your business in a wildly different way, because we hate SMART goals. But it's often the place that people start with this kind of masculine, tangible goals, like numbers, like I want to make X amount per month, I want X number of clients, I want to grow my community to X. And I think one of the things that we have realized on our journey is that there's another type of goal that is probably even more important, but certainly needs to go hand in hand with your masculine goals, and it's the feminine goals. And by that we mean the goals that you set yourself based on how you want to feel in your business. And it's really important to have those two things aligned, because if you're creating, an income goal, for instance, that says, I just want to be able to make £3,000 or £4,000 a month in my business. I just want to be able to do that consistently. But actually your feeling goal that you have on how you want to feel in your business is this feeling of like financial freedom, like I am living in abundance, I am overflowing because I've managed to pay all my bills, I've managed to invest in my business, and I've also got overflow for me to have this lifestyle that I want. The question is, if that's the feeling, does the masculine goal that you've created for yourself support you to feel that way? Or are you just setting what you think is realistic for this place? And this is why these two goals are really, really important. And if you have already set yourself some goals that are, you know, these masculine tangible goals, it's really worth getting some time and putting pen to paper and thinking about, how do you want your business to make you feel in your life? Do you want to feel that level of wealth that makes you feel abundant and financially free and able to say yes to yourself, to do the things that you want to do and to have the things that you want to have? And like, what is that feeling, that security feeling that you perhaps you're looking for? And does your goal support you to feel that way?
I think this is really interesting, coming from one way to the other way, from masculine to feminine. Because when I came to see I'd thrown away the masculine. And Em and I believe in the dance of the masculine and the feminine. So what we're saying is here is you need both, not just one.
Yeah.
So I'd read Danielle Delaporte's Fire Starter session. So I was all about the feeling goal. How do I want to feel in my business? I want to feel free. I want to feel proud. I want to feel amazing, admired, appreciated, all of these things. I was coming into this from a feeling goal. So when Em sat me down at the beginning of 2020 and said, Ali, what's your goal? In terms of how much you've told me that you want to earn more money, you want more income, you want more clients. What does that mean? I hadn't put a number on it. I was just like, well, I just want to feel amazing. She said, no, what's the number? And I was like, well, £2,000, let's just put that there. And she said, but Ali, will that make you feel proud? Will that make you feel free? Will that make you feel this? And I was like, well, no. So what I'm saying is here, wherever you're coming from, starter, when you're in your business, if you've got masculine goals or feminine goals, you need the two, and they need to be in sync. Like Em said, if your masculine goal is £2,000 a month, is that in alignment with the feeling of that makes me feel free, that makes me feel abundant, that makes me feel grateful, that makes me feel X, Y, and Z, proud, whatever it might be? You need to tally the two together. So your first real piece of homework is to go back around and have, if you're missing one side, if you've only got masculine goals, please go and look at your feeling goals. How do you want to feel? So your masculine is very tangible, the numbers. The feminine is the feeling. Who do I want to be when I show up in my business? How do I want to feel in my business? How do I want to feel about my business? And then you've got to say, well, actually, do they match? And if they don't match, what do I need to baseline? If my feelings are more important, then do I need to up level my standard of my goals? When you're in your feeling goals, what do I need to do? What do I need to have in order to feel this way? So you need to marry the levels together and make sure that they're in sync. Because otherwise you're going to feel resentment or out of alignment.
Yeah, I think the feeling that happens when these goals aren't in alignment can definitely be frustration, like resentment, this like wonky energy around, you know, if you're setting yourself a goal and saying, I want, you know, I've worked out that I can take on 20 private clients because I've got 20 hours in the week that I can see private clients. But actually your goal is that you want to be more flexible and you want the freedom to, you know, pick your kids up from school at a certain time. You want some freedom to be able to look after your health and go to yoga on a Wednesday. And you want some, you know, freedom to be creative in your business and have time to do your social media without feeling like it's a massive chore. Are those two goals going to be aligned? And I think this is really what we're talking about.
So when you come into your business, I've got a Post-it note on my computer. It's not with me today, but it's on my laptop at home. And I've got my two goals there. My goal, my vision, our vision for our brand, the Limitless CEO, is to create £1 million brand. That's our physical, tangible goal. That's what we want to do. Helping women create businesses in a wildly different way. That is what we do. That is our goal. My feminine goal, you can't attach any tangible, quantifiable measurements to it. My feminine goal is that every single day I'm going to show up as a limitless woman to show others how they can be a limitless CEO too. And that is me showing up in the energy of feeling free, feeling wealthy, feeling powerful and feeling so overwhelmingly overflowing with joy and happiness. That is me showing up in my feminine energy. That is my goal, to feel that way every single day. And when I feel that way, I know that the £1 million brand will come. So it's about really being aware of your two goals, the masculine, the tangible. What do I need to do? Who do I need to be? And how do I want to feel? You need the two. So go away and do that homework. Okay, if you want to grow.
Okay, so that's the goals. So the second part of this, which is the R, is all around resources. So something that became very apparent to us as we started to grow very, very quickly was that in order to grow, like we think about grow as like going upwards, like going up, 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 you know, everything's going up, our audience is going up, our income's going up. But in order to go upwards, we also needed to expand outwards. And the reason for that is because as you're going upwards, you're going to reach a tipping point where the foundations that you've built on, if you imagine your business as like a building, it's like a home, and you're trying to grow upwards and create this taller building, there is going to become a point where your foundations no longer support the heights that you want to grow to. And in order to build upwards, you also need to expand your foundations. You need to feel supported at the bottom, so that when you're building these bricks on top and more and more and more, that you've got the firm stability to support you. So this is why resource starts to become really important as you're growing, is that in order for you to go upwards, you also need the resource to feel supported from the bottom as well, whether that is, you know, resources in terms of you might need some more people, for instance, like people resourced in your team. Maybe you need an extra pair of hands to allow you to go upwards. You know, that could be one way in which you want to grow upwards. But I think also something that we recognize is that in our business, the number one resource that needs to feel completely stable is you, because you, us.
We are the foundations of our business. You are the foundation of your business. And what we found through growing businesses and growing, as long as we keep growing and nurturing and looking after our firm foundations, our feelings of security, our feelings of safety, that is what means and enables our business to keep on growing, because we're growing stronger with it in order to hold all of it that's coming. You want growth, you want to grow, but you've got to be able to hold it. And the only way you can do that is solidify your own personal strength. And I think this is a really, really important thing we talk to our private clients an awful lot of, is this whole sense of, if you are going to be able to be in service to other people, whether that be private clients, whether that be huge numbers on your programs, on your growth targets, you've got to make sure that you're in the best physical place, energetic space possible to hold that energy of that. So what can you do in order to support yourself? So when we talk about resources, when we're talking about yourself, it might look wildly different to what you might be expecting. Because to me, to support my energy, in order to show up here in my fullest expression, to be able to show up on social media, to give value for free, to help others in our other containers, in our paid containers, I need to make sure I've got the resources that I need to be able to do that. So for me, it's making sure that I go to the gym every Monday morning. First thing, I have a personal trainer who wakes me up, kickstarts me. That to me is my energetic foundation. I know that we have a wonderful client who loves to go and get her hair done on a Monday because that makes her feel really good. We put ourselves in our business first. Only you know what resources you need in order to be able to show up and show the strong foundations for you and your business. You are the foundation of your business. And I think that can be a really hard, as we talked about helping women build businesses in a wildly different way, this is the wildly different way. And if this feels uncomfortable to you, but you want growth, then this is the one thing that you're going to have to step into and learn through experience. Because I resisted it for a long time, and Em, I'm sure you did too. But I know, and you know, Em, that when we show up and give our best, it's because we've given ourselves the best first.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you know, when you're in a growth phase of business, there's this feeling that you have to be at your desk, you have to be on social media all the time, you have to be like in your business 24/7, that you can't even put it down. And actually that's stunting your growth, because you're not allowing yourself, you know, that space that you need in order to fill yourself up, for you to come into your business at your best. And actually what we have recognized is that the more we have grown and the more we continue to grow, the more time we have to take back for ourselves. Because, you know, if you're saying, I want more clients, I want a bigger audience, I want hundreds of people in my programs, I want my private coaching fully booked, that is a lot of energy to hold. That is a lot of different people's energy to hold. And in order for you to be able to hold it, you need to have, you know, cultivated that strength from within. Because what's going to happen if you're sitting there saying, I want more clients, I desire more clients, I desire to be fully booked, and actually you're there and you're burning out and you're stressed out and you're overwhelmed and you're feeling like like there's going to be something that goes on, that the universe is going to look at you and go, you want more, like, absolutely not, absolutely not. Look at you, you can't hold what you've got. So, you know, there's what we call universal protection that goes on here, is that when we're asking for more, but we don't actually have the inner strength and, you know, the personal power that we talk about to hold it all, we're actually limiting our own growth.
So basically what we're saying here to all of you gorgeous women watching this is that this is permission for you to take time to look after you. We talk about invest in you, take the time, take what you need. You are your number one resource. You are your number one asset. So when we're talking about growth, this is the most important thing for you to do. Invest in resources, and the number one resource to invest in is you. Have we said that enough?
Whatever you need for your foundation, for your foundations to feel solid, that's where you need to invest. What do you need to feel supported, for your foundations to feel wildly supported?
We ask each other this all the time. What do you need? And Em asked me, what do you need?
To be supported.
To feel supported, to feel good, to feel like you can show up in the best possible service ever. So once you've got your number one foundation resource sorted, there's also the second part, which is what other resources do you need to underpin that foundation? And this is when we can start to say, what else do I need in order for me? When Em talks about the foundations, we need to either go deeper if we want to go higher, or if we want to go broader, then we also need to go broader. We've got to match what we're doing in terms of our foundations to hold it. So if you're saying, I want to have consistent 5-figure months, if I want to grow a £1 million brand, if I want to have 100 people in my programs, what do you need in order to support that level? Because that amount of energy, that amount of number of people to serve is going to drain you as one person. So this is when you need to start to build it and they will come. Is that City of Dreams, I think?
Field of Dreams.
Build it and they will come. So this is about you making sure that you've got the foundations to hold that. If you start to build on foundations where there's, you know, weak foundations, what happens? That's when we tip, that's when we topple, that's when we sink.
Wobble.
And if in the online space, this can be a bit of a mind fuddle, because we often think, well, we don't need any of these things. But actually you do. If you want to grow, you've got to grow a solid foundation in order to do that. Just like in a bricks and mortar business, you would have to buy the shop, the stock, the tills, have the people in the shop to come in first. But when we think of an online business, we think, well, I don't need to do that. I'll do that when I've got some money coming in. But if you want the big money and the big clients, you're going to have to start to build the foundations alongside the growth, with the growth, almost one step ahead. So if you want to go to your next level, what does your next level look like? And what do you need to support that? Start building it now.
Yeah, don't wait until it becomes
Right.
an absolute need because you're sinking and your foundations have crumbled. Like, give yourself the opportunity to grow by strengthening those foundations and making sure that you've got all the resources that you need. Yeah, 100%. All right, which leads us on to the third part of our growth sequence, which is the O. Ali, what's the O?
Well, this was a rather big penny drop for us, wasn't it, Em? So we love to come in and share what we've been through. The O is creating those opportunities to grow, the space in which to grow. So if you want to grow, you've got to create space to grow into. I'm in a really small cupboard right now. There's not a lot of space for me to grow into. And I always remember that the fable of the flea. A flea can jump really, really, really high when it's in an open space. But if you put it in a jar and it has babies, the babies will only ever grow as high as the top of the jar, because that's all it ever knows. That's all it knows it can jump to. And when you remove the jar, it will only ever grow to that point in time as well. So you want to lift your limitations. We are the limitless CEOs. So where are you limiting yourselves in terms of opportunity to grow? And I think this is one thing that we want to do when you go back to your goals. And this is a really nice review, to go back and have a look at, and this is one thing we did. We said, right, we want to grow our audience. We want to grow our private clients. We want to grow our programs. We want to grow our income. Okay, what does our space look like around those ideas that we want to grow in? Right, let's have a look. We want to grow our private client space, but our calendar is absolutely full. How do you grow when there's no space to grow into? So this is about reviewing your business at the moment and saying, where can I create some space? Get your diary and start. If you want 6 clients, private clients, put the time in your diary for those slots.
Yeah, even if you don't have them yet, this is really important because you're creating the space for them to come in to your business. If you're running a back-to-back diary, or you're feeling like I've got no time in the day, and then you're asking for more clients to come in, again, you're going to have this energetic protection that says, well, you don't have any space for any more. So create some space. So important. And actually, we had to do this with a number of things. It was, okay, if we desire more private clients, let's create the space in our calendar for those private clients. Even before they're there, we are going to energetically protect that space in our diary. We also had to do it, okay, if you're saying I want to grow my audience, and social media, I feel like I need my time. I need more time to be able to get in the right headspace, to be in my creative zone. I want to go out and take great photos. I want time to write amazing posts that people are going to engage with. If that's one of your goals, to grow your audience, but you don't have earmarked time in your diary for your creative space, your social media time,
you're not going to grow your audience.
Goal? Yeah, so you need to carve out the creative space.
Yeah. If you want financial growth, have you got the right support space, mechanisms, and functions in order to welcome in all of that extra cash? Do you have a payment method? Whatever that might be, Stripe, PayPal. Have you got a business bank account? All of those things. Is it easy for people to pay you?
Yeah. It's like you're saying you want a 6-figure brand, a 7-figure brand. Where is the money going to go?
Exactly.
Where do you desire the money to come into? Because if you create that space up front and you create a platform for your business that is able to support that level of growth, then you've already done all of that foundational work, and then you get to experience that growth coming in. You don't want to wait until you're thinking, oh my goodness, like all of my my ship is not in order at all, and actually I've got no idea how I'm even going to take these payments. Oh my gosh, somebody wants to pay me, but I haven't got any way for them to pay me.
It's what I'm seeing in my head, is what we're saying here is you really want to start to create the containers so that the flow can come, whether that be a flow in cash, whether it be a flow in clients, whether it be a flow in ideas. So this is another really great one. If you want to have more programs online, but you don't know what to write your programs about, you need to create the headspace for you to think about the programs, or to just allow the ideas to come in. So protect your rest time. That's why we have Woman Day on Wednesdays, for us to not only re-energize, but for us to just create a space for us to receive the downloads, the inspiration, and the ideas. And when we're so busy thinking and doing and giving, we have no space for us to receive. That was a really big one for us. Another huge one, if you want to grow your business, is we've got Woman Day, but we also have Boss Time. This is when Em and I come in and we work together on the business, and we say, right, okay, what is our plan going forward? What are these containers? What is our growth plan? What do we need to create to support us? What resources? What space? All of it. What are the foundations that we need to be building a business here? If these are our goals, what do we need to build? What containers do we need to build?
Yeah, and ladies, if you could see our calendar, it's like a bag of Skittles. It's the only way I can describe it. It has got all of the different colors under the rainbow, and there is time there for creative in one color. There is time for boss time, for planning in another color. There is time for our client delivery in another color. There is time for our woman time, our personal time, for us to recharge and be able to allow that inspiration to come through. Like our diary, literally, bless her cat, I think when she probably first, our assistant, our wonderful assistant cat, when she first saw our diary, I was like, yes, we've got about 8 different diaries here, because each of these colors represents a different container and space in which we are giving ourselves the opportunity to grow. And every single one of those is just as important as the other one.
Do you know which one my favorite one is, by the way, Em? The one that comes in my diary that says TLC Showtime.
TLC Showtime, exactly. That is our creating space for us to come and be here on this online stage for you, to be able to share with you what we know. Like if we want to, if part of our mission is to be in service and to give great content, then we're going to need to find space to step onto that stage.
Yeah,
for you. So it's really important to do that.
One thing before we move on to our final piece here is what I would love to invite everybody to do is to go back to your goals. Can you see it's all about going back to your goals and saying, am I supported in the resources? Now, am I actually creating the opportunities for me to achieve these goals? So go back to your goals again and ask yourself, am I giving myself the opportunity to do this? And if I'm not, how can I? So like we've already said to you, create the containers in your time. If you're already incredibly time pressed, then I think the last thing that we both wanted to touch on here is that this is where you might have to start to let go of some of the things that no longer serve you. And sometimes this goes into the resources piece as well. So for example, if you want to create some more rest time, some more chill time, what are some of the things that you're doing that you can let go of, that you can delegate, that you can delay or not do anymore? And that doesn't necessarily mean in your business, but we love to see business and life as almost synonymous. So if I need to have a bit more space in my creative time, is there anything that I can put down in either my business or my personal life in order to enable me to do that? So this could mean that rather than walking the dog, you get a dog walker, or you have a cleaner. I used to go and change the sheets in our property lets, and Em was like, "Al, you're going to have to let that go."
Yeah, you're too valuable when you could be paying somebody else to do that.
So it's about just valuable. Coming at this and just saying, what can I let go of? And in business, if there's something that's heavy and you're feeling like you should do, if there's anything you're feeling that you should do or have to do, that's often the case of the thing that you need to let go. So when we were creating the Limitless CEO brand, I was very reticent to let go of Heal Yourself Happy because I loved it. I loved it. It was my baby. It was my first brand. It was my first 6-figure brand. It was what I was known for. So how could I let that go? But I recognized, and we had discussions about it, in order for us to align with the growth plans that we had for the Limitless CEO, I had to let it go, and I had to let it go with love. And it was an emotional period of time for me to do that, but in doing so, it enabled me and freed me up so much more to give more in this space. So it's about not only looking in your life, but also looking in your business. Sometimes it's like the caterpillar that sheds the skin. In order to come out, you have to let go of something.
Yeah. Okay, so our final point on today is the W, which stands for work. So this is about, yes, not whatever, but it's the work that works.
Yeah.
So this is about you directing your energy, your resources, your time, your money, your everything into doing the things that work to help you grow. This is really important. I think there's a lot of things out there online that are shiny and, you know, can easily distract us and, you know, take us down a path that maybe isn't going to be the thing that is going to be the most important for the stage of the business that we're at. So I think for Ali and I, when we come into this, it's always about, we know there's work to be done, but what is going to be our priority here? What are the things that make the biggest difference? And over the last couple of months, in particular, we have experienced a huge up level in the business in all areas. And the reason why is that we've actually taken ourselves back through our own framework. So for those of you that have taken the Well-Balanced Business or are coming into the Well-Balanced Business, we actually teach a strategic growth framework within that program that covers like core pillars of what's important for growth. And part of our growth strategy is to take ourselves back through that process. And because every single time we do, we up level again and again and again. It's a framework that we can just continue to use to go upwards, upwards, upwards. And there were some core things that we've done over the last couple of months that have resulted in our most recent up level that we wanted to share with you, and exactly what we've actually done. You know, and hopefully, you know, if you went back through, you'd be able to see some of these things playing out for themselves as well. But the first one, Ali, do you want to talk about is brand? Because I know we've touched on brand, but this really is probably the most important foundational pillar that we can talk to you about today, is how we have up leveled the brand since it started.
I love the brand piece. I love the brand piece. And when I first came to I actually went through her business blueprint kind of like review, which you can download. It's at the top of our group here.
Yeah, it's a free download. You can get
it's a free download. And I did the review because what it highlighted to me were where I was, the work that I was doing was focusing on only 2 areas of my business. Mm-hmm. So it was a huge, well, I don't have that, and I don't have that, and I'm not doing that very well. I'm focusing all my energy and my work in just a small pocket. And if I want to grow, then I need to make sure that I'm covering all my bases. And the reason why Em and I keep going back around this is just to remind ourselves, because sometimes we can have a natural affinity to just, oh, I'm just going to gravitate to what I know. And it's about coming back out, looking up and saying, right, am I doing everything that I need to in my business? The more we can stay consistent in all of these areas that we're going to take you through, the more powerful that we grow. So the first piece, and as we've said right at the beginning, the most important thing when you start to want to grow is to up level your brand. When we up level our brand, it's not about going back around and reinventing the whole wheel. It's not about redefining a logo and redefining your whole brand. It's not a rebrand, it's an up level of your brand. We love to do this every 3 months, because every 3 months there's probably a different season. Definitely in the UK, we have evolved as people. We have learned so much. So how do we want to up level our brand? How do we want to make our messaging clearer? How do we want to make our images look? Are we still happy with the kind of like colors and the tones? Do we need to tweak them for this season, or what we're talking about in terms of what we're growing and our goals now? So this is about going back around and saying, what is the expression of our brand right now, and are we making that incredibly clear? And sometimes there might be the smallest of tweaks, and sometimes there's a bigger change, but it's just about making it very, very clear. And are we being intentional with our brand so that we know our purpose, and can others see that purpose in us, and can we inspire and activate them in doing the same? So your brand is so important to get right, because everything else almost like hangs off it. It is a framework, but if you can be really, really clear in your brand, and keep up leveling your brand. One of the most important things about up leveling your brand is that you're going to keep people interested. If you keep repeating the same thing over and over again, there's sometimes it's really good to do that, but there's key parts that you want to get people interested and intrigued. Oh, what are they up to next? What are they doing now? I'm wondering what their autumn winter colors are going to be. This is about that whole intrigue so that people keep interested. Like when Apple kept changing, you know, the new iPhone, we're all ready. It's still an Apple iPhone. It's still going to have the same things, but I wonder what they're going to do with the pixels. And I wonder what they're going to do with the camera. And I'm wondering what they're going to do with the, you know, the shape of it. Is it going to be bigger, smaller, whatever it is? So we're intrigued. And it's the same with our brand. So this is what the curator and the creator are about.
Staying relevant. It's staying relevant for your audience in terms of like what they need, and making sure that your brand is that thing. Like people often say to us, like, why would people buy from me versus everybody else out there that's doing a similar thing? Your brand. They'll buy your brand. They buy into your brand. Otherwise, you're just another business doing the same thing. The only differentiator that you can create for yourself is through your brand. This is why it's so important that you continue to up level. Like Ali said, this is why we've bought the brand module out of the Well Balanced Business. It'll still be a part of the Well Balanced Business, but we're going deeper on it for an entire immersion day by offering the creator and the curator. And that is something that you can just buy individually, even if you're not sure whether you want to jump into the Well Balanced Business. You can just do that one day with us and up level your brand in that way. So we've done a lot of work on our brand in the last couple of months, to reflect, making sure that we're still relevant, that we're being really intentional, that we're speaking to our right audience, attracting the right people, that we've got clarity on what we do, and that everybody else has also got clarity on what we do as well.
You know what, one thing I love about the whole brand piece and keeping it relevant is actually we go back to this. Is it still relevant to me? Does it still activate me? We are the most important people in our business. Am I still wildly excited when I come in and have a look at my brand? Oh, hell yes. And if I'm not, what do I want to do to slightly tweak it or improve it? So it's just important, if you've already got an established brand, to keep exciting yourself by, am I still excited by the words that I say? Hell yes, I am. I'm so excited that we're helping women, independent women, build businesses in a life that they love in a wildly different way that fills their soul. Yes, that's what I want to do. And that's what I want to help other women do. So we help you create the brand messaging, the taglines, the imagery, the vibe, the essence. That's what we're going to be doing in the creator and the curator and the creator. So that is currently on offer for £333. Is a whole day on the 10th of February. So it's next week, next Thursday. You'll jump on in. We're going to take you through 4 workshop modules. They're about an hour long throughout the day, spaced out through the day. You can workshop with us. You're going to be in a Facebook group like this one with everybody else there, so that you can share your images, you can share your taglines, you can share your messaging, so you can get eyes on it before you put it out into the big wide world. You get feedback from M&I, and you're going to have access to that for 10 days. So it's going to be there from the 10th of February until we go live with the Well Balanced Business on the 21st of February. For those of you who've already invested and already in the Well Balanced Business, then you're going to stay in, you'll have access to that as well anyway. And anybody who's in Curator and the Creator, you can then upgrade to continue your journey with us or not, but you'll still have that content through for that 10 days for you to up level your brand.
Right. So what are the other things that we have been up leveling then when it comes to the work, as we call it? What is the work that we're doing? So another thing that we've been really intentional about this year is up leveling our social media, the way that we are coming into social media. We're very intentional about what we're putting out. What is the content of this week? What do we want our context for this week to be all about? And therefore, what is our content going to be to support what it is that we're focused on in our business? It's also been us thinking about, how we show up in our own, specialism on social media as well. Because, Ali has one specialism, I have another specialism. She's the energetics, I'm the business strategy. Like, you will have a specialism as well. Like, how do you intentionally show up and really show like who you are on social media and what you can do for people? I think we've been much more intentional about that, in terms of what we're posting, where we're posting, how we're posting, our imagery, our words. Like, how are we being as potent as possible with every post? We're not posting for the sake of posting. There is an intentionality behind everything that we do. And that is part of, you know, what we do, what we teach is social media. So if social media is frying your brain right now, it's about how do you create a strategy that supports your business growth and that makes you feel like you're clear and intentional about why you're doing it, so that it doesn't feel like it's a massive chore.
I think as well that this is one hole that people can get stuck into when we're talking about do the work that works. Yes, social media works, but it's not your whole entire work. It doesn't overtake your life. So throughout the Well Balanced Business, we will teach you, coach you how to use social media so it doesn't feel overwhelming, so it doesn't feel draining, so that it feels easy and relevant at the same time. It's a really, really powerful key module. It's one of my favorites, as well as brand. I say this about every module, but this is a really, really important thing, to get really intentional about your social media. So it's not all of the time, it's done with intention. That's powerful, that's impactful. What else have we up leveled? We've done a
One
lot
thing
of
we've
work
been
on.
really focused on is our lead generation. So
Yeah.
ultimately, your leads are the bloodline of your business. If you don't have leads coming into your business, you don't have sales, you don't have clients, you don't have income, you don't have a business. So lead generation is a very important part of what we do. But we also have to be very intentional about what it is we're doing. We have to look at, you know, trying different things, trying different lead generation tactics and seeing what works for us and doing more of that, and maybe trying things and realizing actually that doesn't work for us. So, you know, we know that that's not right for us for where we are right now, and therefore we want to redirect our energy and our money and our time into the things that we know do work. But if you don't have a lead generation strategy of some sort that is working for you, then it's going to feel like an uphill battle all the time. So thinking about our lead generation has also been key to our growth, and being very intentional about what we invest in.
Speaking to those of you who have no idea what Emma's talking about, because when she talked to me about lead generation, I had no idea what she was talking about, and not having really done any marketing before. If you can think about lead generation as being people who don't yet know you, but then suddenly come across you. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how do you get people to cross your path? How do they find you? So, and then that's when they're like, oh, I wonder what that is over there. I'm going to wander down and have a look. It's about how do you put yourself in the path of someone who would not typically know who you are. So we're talking about things like, if you're thinking online, you're thinking about Facebook ads. How do I get myself in front of someone who's not yet connected with me? It's also things like PR, magazines, podcasts, live speaking events. How do you get yourself in front of people who don't yet know you? Because otherwise, one of the things that we can often find is if we're on social media, we can come across as just saying, well, all I'm doing is giving free content to my family and friends. And that's really annoying and frustrating. So how do I find and give value to new people in my world? So that's what we've been doing. That's one thing that we teach in the Well Balanced Business, is how do you start to attract new people into your world, the growing of the audience. Another thing that we've been doing, which is a really fun thing, is that we've been playing with launching. So launching new programs and new services. How we were feeling pretty stale, I think, in the way that we've been doing it before. We've been doing it for a long time. So we've been mixing it up. And that's why one of the things that's going to be so exciting in the Well Balanced Business this round is that we're upgrading the way we teach launching and giving new ideas and how you can do that, how you can get confident at offering your products and services, how you bring it to market. It's really, really exciting, and playing with it and experimenting with it. And we're going to be teaching and sharing you what we have learned so that you can also benefit from what we've learned as well.
Yeah. So if you're, if it's a private coaching that you're looking to fill, you want to get your private coaching fully booked, or maybe it's a new program or an online course or service that you want to offer. Maybe it's retreats that you want to start offering. It doesn't matter what it is that you're looking to bring in. We have created these beautiful, soulful launch processes and, you know, ideas on how you can show up and sell what you've got in a way that feels really aligned for you. And I think, you know, selling has always been a word that's quite triggering for a lot of people. And I think this is the other thing that we've been really focused on is how do we shift that weird energy around sales and being salesy and being comfortable in terms of talking about what it is that we've got to offer. And for us, it was really a reframe around creating this amazing customer buying experience so that we can present opportunities and offers to people without selling, without feeling salesy. Because I know this is something that a lot of women struggle with. They're very confident giving away free content. And then when it comes down to asking for the money, asking for, you know, people to come in to their paid programs and services, there's this like weird wonky energy that comes in, and they just think, oh God, I don't want to look like I'm being salesy.
There's
So
actually a
this has
question in
been,
the group, Em. There's a question in the group about I've offered up my 2 spots, but no one's biting. I think this is one thing around sales, and again, one of the things that we've looked at, and one of the things that we teach is that you don't just talk about it once. Nike don't just come out and say, here's one pair of trainers, and then remove it from the shelf and go, oh, run away and hide. This is about, I've got these Nike trainers. I've got these Nike trainers. Do you want them? This is what they do. This is what they look like from this side. This is what you can benefit from. Can you imagine running in this way? So we teach you how you can continue to show your products and services and offer them as solutions to people's problems and keep talking about them. We don't just offer them once. I remember very, very early on in coaching, it was just like, well, no one's buying. And our coach said to us, how many times have you sold it today? How many times have you offered it up for somebody to actually come in and buy? It's like, oh, yeah, no, we haven't. So selling online is no different to selling in the shops. It's just a lot more obvious when you walk into a shop because it's there, physically there all the time, and it doesn't move. Online sales, you're constantly moving, so you've got to keep moving with it. You've got to keep putting content out there and showing and sharing what you've got, whether that be one product or 2 products, because some person might want just one, the Nike trainers, but somebody won't like the whole outfit, and they might want the tennis trainer as well. So this is about offering people and showing people what you have and not attaching anything to whether they buy or not. Keep talking about it. The more we talk about things, the more people come in and then buy.
yeah. And I think the other final thing that we've really been working on is up-leveling programs and services as well, so that we can show up and talk about them in a way we're so passionate and energized by, because we've created something that we truly believe in and really love. And I think part of that for us has also been creating new opportunities and ways in which people can come into our world and grow with us through, we've launched retreats in the last couple of months. You will have seen us sell out our retreats a couple of weeks ago. Our first ever retreat sold out in 4 hours. We've also added in a mastermind for this year. So there's opportunities to come and be part of a high level mastermind. But we also want to create other opportunities, like the Curator and the Creator is one day, £333 for one day.
With us.
And up level your entire brand. So we're doing a lot to create amazing opportunities within the business at all different levels of investment.
And all different levels of wherever you are in your business. And I think if you're listening here, whether you've got a seed or whether you've got a business that you want to grow, the 7 or 8 things that we've just gone through about how we've up leveled, this is where you focus your attention, your energy, and where you work, not just on one of those things, but you've got to understand all of the different bits of the framework that makes the entire business.
Yeah, I think just to recap what those things are, and I would like encourage you to write them down. Brand strategy and development is really key. Your social media content and the way in which you show up on social media, really important. How you're creating your programs and services and offers, again, something that needs a lot of intentionality. Lead generation, how are you growing your audience and attracting new people into your world, so that you're not just saying the same thing to the same people all the time? How are you practicing your sales skills and creating a beautiful customer buying experience for people? Okay, all of these things are really important. And of course, the launch. If you've got something new that you want to put out there in the world, what's that process going to look like that you can get yourself behind, so that when it comes to the crunch, you're actually loving the process and people can feel your energy through that launch process. And when you actually get to delivering it, you're excited and ready to go, not feeling like, oh my God, I'm absolutely knackered because I've been launching this thing for the last 6 to 8 weeks.
Focus your work on the work.
The work that works.
The work, focus your intentions and your energy on the work that works. And I really hope that this whole grow process has really helped you. Keep tying yourself back to those goals, the masculine and the feminine feeling goals. Are you looking after your number one resource by also yourself, and also getting the underpinning resources in order to help you do that? If you want to grow, have you got the containers and giving yourselves the opportunity to grow into, or are you stifled? And then finally, if you do want to grow, you've got to do the work in your business that will bring the growth. It's not just about doing one thing in your business. You can't just be coaching, or you can't just be selling. You've got to be doing the whole suite of different things that you need to do in order to be in business that's going to create you the life that you desire. But what we love to teach is to teach you these key frameworks, these key pieces, in a way that feels good to you. So we will give you the framework. We will share with you the framework, and it's up to you how you want to interpret that and build that into your business. That's what Em did for me, and that's what we've done with so many other women in the Well Balanced Business Program. But I think what we want to say today is that if there's one thing that can help you launch into a growth period, is to really look very, very clearly at your brand. What is it that you're putting out there? And we would love to invite you to come and spend a day with us next week to really, really redefine everything that is to do with your brand. We'd love to invite you to come on the Curator and the Creator Day. And I know Kat's just popped a link in there. If you've got any questions on anything we've said about today, please do just pop into our inboxes or DM us and let us know.
Yeah, how we can help you grow.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for, ladies. So thank you very much for your time today. I know Ali's got a flight to catch. It's 3 o'clock. James will be
honking on the
cupboard any moment.
He's going to be coming in a minute.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you so much for being here. Kat, thank you very much for dropping all of the messages in. She's one of the wonderful things that have meant that we've been able to grow this year, and appreciate you so much. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being in our world. We love you. We're going to be back tomorrow sometime for the Limitless brunch. It's going to be very lighthearted, and we'll see wherever I'm going to be. I'll see you wherever I'm going to be.
We'll see you then. Thanks, ladies. Bye for now.